It's the sleeper hit of the holiday season, The Housemaid. It's based off a book, although I haven't read it, so I can't say if it's a good adaptation or not. I had zero expectations going in, so I sat down, watched it, and it really wasn't that great. Now, it's not the worst movie of all time, or a movie that makes me angry even. It's just not very good. The story is one of those where it has twists and turns, so I'll try to sum it up without giving too much away. A woman out on parole named Millie gets a job as a housemaid for a wealthy family. While the job seems great at first, it turns out that members of the family have deep-seated mental issues. And honestly, I can't really say more from there. Before I get into my issues with the film, let me talk about the good things, because there are a couple. I like that the movie went for a full R rating and takes advantage of it. When the past 20 years have been congested with PG-13 slashers that clearly should have been R, it's nice to see a movie go all out. Amanda Seyfried is having a lot of fun with this role. She gets to go back and forth from being over-the-top nice to a yelling psychotic. She's a lot of fun to watch, and I can buy her as the same character giving both of these performances. She's clearly giving it her all to a point it actually kind of becomes a problem, but we'll get to that later. I've seen some people compare this movie to Get Out or Gone Girl, but I don't think that's what it's going for. I'm pretty sure the movie was supposed to be going for a revenge exploitation type of film. Sort of like the blaxploitation or revenge movies of the 70s, where there would be a little social commentary, but overall it would be about living the fantasy an audience member would want. However, even judging it by one of those movies, I'd still say it's not good because instead of going full into the fantasy, it tries to ground it in reality, which the more you push in that direction, the more questions are going to be brought up. For example, the reason Millie is put in prison really makes no sense. She killed a guy who was raping a girl, and because he was rich, she was locked up. Now, I know the type of commentary they're trying to make, but they never really explain why the victim didn't testify for her. They just kinda hand-wave her off, which contradicts another moment where, while on parole, Millie literally hit someone over the head with a bottle for being creepy around a woman. And for whatever reason, the guy doesn't call the cops, even though there are plenty of witnesses, and this definitely would get her back in the slammer. If this was just a pure revenge fantasy like Foxy Brown, where the law is non-existent, then it'd be fine, but as is, it just raises more questions. This is a movie that I think could have been saved by its performances, as there are plenty of movies which don't have the best scripts, but have actors that can carry the material to be enjoyable. Besides Amanda Seyfried though, most are just okay or downright bad. Brandon Sklenar does okay. He's mostly a bland nice guy throughout the film, which I know that's the point, but I've seen the nice guy with a secret role done better in other movies, whether it be The Mask or hell, Tim Burton's Batman. Either way, he's not the worst offender and does his job fine, I just don't think he's very memorable in the film. Okay, so let's talk about the worst part of the movie, and that's Sydney Sweeney. She looks extremely disinterested throughout this movie. Her delivery is really flat, and she often just has this blank stare with her mouth open that looks like she'd rather be anywhere else. I've only seen her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and from what I remember, she did fine in that. Maybe it's just the direction she had, or she just isn't good at these roles, but she's extremely boring. It really shows when Seyfried is acting across from her, giving 100%, and Sweeney looks like she's waiting to get off the set.
Never one of those women just going with her gut. She knew. The whole fucking time, she knew I needed this job and couldn't leave, no matter how shitty she made my life.
It doesn't help that the movie is unnecessarily over 2 hours, and she's on screen 80% of the movie. I think back to actors like Pam Grier, who weren't always given the best writing, but would always add personality. Sweeney sucks any potential personality out of this character. The side characters in the movie aren't that great either. They're usually just used to spout exposition. Even the ones that are supposed to be more active in the story, like the groundskeeper, really don't add much. The cinematography is also kind of weird. It's not bad, but often the camera will focus on a random object and then follow it to the main subject. I don't really understand why this is done, but it's very noticeable. Maybe it's just a me thing though. The music is fine. The soundtrack just isn't my kind of music personally, so I won't knock off points for that, but the background music sometimes sounds like a lesser version of X's soundtrack. So I think you can tell how I feel about this movie, and it's pretty negative. Now, a lot of people have come out and said that they know this movie isn't necessarily good, but they still had a good time with it. Which I completely understand. We all have trash we love, even though we know we shouldn't. This trash just isn't for me. I give it a 3 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.